Hey, welcome back. If you watched the day one video, you, like me, probably thought to yourself, there's a lot of things that he didn't do right, or it was hard to listen to, and I didn't clearly follow along, or at any point realize what the main point of the video was. And that, among a few other things, are the main subject matter for this video. At a high level, my objective with creating these videos, especially early on, the objective here is to close the gap as quickly as possible from day zero, starting out with very little experience in the realm of delivering a message, a clear message to people, to listeners, and closing the gap between that and reaching a point where it'll be subjective to some degree, but having confidence in my ability to communicate effectively, clearly, in a way that is oriented around the experience of the listener and drives value to them, rather than as just some random dude speaking about things that might not matter, might not make sense, might not be structured in a concise or strategic way. One of the things I found myself doing a lot in the day one video, I spent a good amount of time sort of just rambling and going off on different tangents and spirals, kind of just like a messy spaghetti almost approach to letting the stream of consciousness take the wheel and drive anywhere and everywhere it wanted to go, rather than driving down a specific clear road from point A to point B. The second thing that immediately jumped out to me after reviewing the day one video, I spent a good amount of time not speaking in the sense of I was intentional and strategic with how I implemented pauses and mixed up the timing of my speech in a way that served effective communication, but rather both the gaps in my communication and the constant looking away, looking down, all of these kind of nonverbal cues that essentially disengage, are me actively disengaging. It's kind of an oxymoron, from this experience. I think what was going on in my mind was I found myself regularly looking for ways to almost like recover from if I were to have spiraled on some topic in a certain direction, or even if I had reached this point where I was able to like feel more or less confident in the moment about a certain point that I was trying to make, or a certain way I delivered a sentence, the way that sounded, I felt good with that. It was almost as if I was continuing to round it out and continue to like polish it in a way. It was almost as if I was looking for another way to just like almost make sure I sound good, I guess. The explicit pattern that I observed was I would say something and then I would go or I would use some sort of conjunction followed by a long pause and a pondering, hoping to get some divinely inspired, eloquent quip to decorate my attempt at clear speech with. Yeah. So again, reflecting on really the shortcomings of day one and thinking about what are some opportunities that I can immediately iterate on to improve my ability to again, deliver a message in a clear, presentable way. Seeing how there were clear examples of me derailing my speech and not having a clear train of thought. Similarly, not having a firm commitment to sentences who have more or less one objective, and don't try to become like a run-on-y, long, redundant mess of an attempt to communicate a point. I think my aim in this video, as I was spending the past 24 hours reflecting on how I could both talk about the things that I noticed as opportunities to improve, as well as try to improve them themselves. I think I hope I did better. I think something as simple as right out the gate, and even in the title of this video, creating the context and setting the expectation around what the objective of this video is, which would be to, again, just at a high level, reflect on the day one video and look for opportunities to iterate upon it. Having just the awareness and the almost like the mental anchor with which I can moor all of my thoughts across the turbulent waters in the sea of consciousness that my brain is and can be, and maybe many people are like this. I found that pretty helpful. And I found the second thing I found and tried to implement here was if I found myself, it's almost like you can tell when you're speaking, when you're creating a sentence, you can see the train of thought moving across your brain, and then you speak it out. And when you're nearing the end of a sentence, and you can sort of detect that you are like on the concluding, the off-ramping of thought you're trying to convey, by paying attention to those times. And if I found myself doing something like this and wanting to say and that, or wanting to linger, I tried now and will continue to try to improve on this, to, if I do actually say it, well, one, try to not say it and just end it with a period, more or less. And if I did do the thing of like add a conjunction and just a long pause and search for the next thing, once I'm in that position, try to recover as quickly possible and pivot into a new thought, or just try to move forward rather than realize, oh, I'm stuck, I'm still stuck, I'm still stuck, I need to look away. So day 2, hopefully an improvement to the listener side of things, as far as the ability to have a clear, direct line of sight of like what the objective or what the value proposition, if you will, of this video is, and hopefully some food for thought in the realm of taking feedback from an initial iteration in the process of trying to develop a skill, and maybe just, these videos, at least right now, basically serve as raw, unedited process of failing fast in order to quickly grow and improve. So they're ugly. Hopefully this is a little bit less ugly than the last one, and cheers in the pursuit of continuing to make less ugly things. I'll see you next time.